Okay guys, so in today's episode we pick up right where we left off. Last episode was the suspension and axle episode, and we ended it by fitting up this GenRight fender. So we're going to rewind a little bit, show you how to install those GenRight fenders, and then work on getting rid of some of those parts in the parts pile and getting them on the Jeep and getting it looking much better. Much better. So let's get to it, boys. So what you want to do is take these factory bolts. These are factory 13 millimeter bolts, and you want to get a couple of them started on this side, so then you can get that side on, and then you kind of tighten them all up together. So we'll just kind of leave that loose like that. Now these ones are 40 Torx button heads. Okay, so like I said, you take these with a 40, line up the holes. Now I've disconnected the cross members that hold the grill up, so that way you can kind of tweak things around a little bit. But basically you want this edge to line up with the grill. So we're gonna put 2 of those in there for now. I'm gonna spread them out a little bit. Let's go to this one. So the bottom one is definitely the most challenging, on mine anyway, on a 20-something-year-old Jeep that you get for $1,500 through a horse trade. It's gonna have some tweaks to it, I'm guessing. Also, these can move around a little bit when they're welding, so you want to leave everything loose so you can kind of tweak stuff around and just keep checking your body lines until it fits. But it's pretty easy, just take your time and move things around. So now that these are all in place, we can just tighten them down. Okay guys, so now that that one's done, we'll go to the other side, we'll do that one, and then we'll get the hood down and show you how it all looks. So far, so good. All right, boys, so we've got the fenders mounted. Now we need to cut this pristine hood. So what I recommend is find yourself a nice table, like so, and you can lay it on. Then get yourself a little chair like this with wheels on it. So as you're cutting, you can wheel along. So I'm gonna take this off and remove this little hood latch, tape this off, mark every 3 inches, make a line, make a cut. Let's do it. Okay guys, pretty mean looking from the front. Now, These are the Highline fenders, so they're about 3 inches further up than the regular tube fenders would be, or the stock fenders would be. So with just a 2-inch lift, we have tons of clearance for the 37s. So that is sweet. That's kind of been like my whole fear with doing this, is I haven't seen a lot of YJs on leaf springs that aren't like jacked to the moon with body lifts and huge 4-inch lifts and everything on such a big tire. So this is like you saw in the last video, a 2-inch kit from BDS. So with 2 inches of lift and the Highline fenders, we are now fitting 37s very appropriately in the front. We'll have plenty of up travel here, and it looks right, which is, you know, what we're going for. Obviously everyone wants low rigged big tires nowadays, so that looks sweet. One thing I did notice is that this Jeep had been laid on its side at one point in time. The hood has been a little tweaked. So I don't know if this hood is going to end up working. We might need to source another hood. Luckily, in this budget YJ process, I found out that there's actually a YJ junkyard about 20 minutes away from my shop. So that's a good thing. When we were doing this, we noticed that the 3-inch cut on the hood isn't working for this hood. So it fits great in some places and not in other places. So I would recommend, if you're doing this Highline fender, don't just go off the 3-inch. Mark it out, take your time, take some measurements, tape off the whole hood, and make your own line. Don't just do 3 inches straight across. Make your own line, make it fit right. This hood also has kind of some dents on that side, and it's tweaked a little bit. So besides that, everything looks really good. So now that we're fitting 37s very appropriately in the front, let's cross our fingers and see what we can do out back, because that's going to be much, much trickier. So let's get back there. Okay, so from the side you can see the difference between the Highline fenders and where the stock wheel well out back is. One thing you can also notice is it looks like this is just a little high in the front, the suspension, or maybe the brackets we're using the axle. So I am going to make some custom shackle hangers for the back that will raise it up just about 1 inch, 1.25 inches to level things out. Also with these military wrapped springs from the BDS kit, there is a little bit of contact on the frame, so that'll get away from that and also give us a little bit more room out back. But regardless of that extra 1 inch, 1.25 inches, we're definitely gonna need to cut. We're about 2 inches away from the tire here. We're about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the front. So as you remember, we moved this axle back 1 inch too, and that's still contacting. So we're gonna need to cut out a bigger opening. I kind of always knew that was the case, but it will give us a lot more room for the fenders. And this is so this is one of the GenRight rear fenders which we're going to be using. We're going to basically match the height off the front. But with this fender, it has a much wider opening than the factory one. So even with that cut, we can clean it up and make it look as factory as possible. And this will probably sit somewhere like that. So let's get to cut. All right, boys. So you can see here how much we have to remove now. So it's a good probably 3 inches down here, a little bit more up here. Right in here, you get real close. So if you're doing this on yours, there's like an inner fender well, and it is right here. On the other side, I'm like right up against it. This side's gonna be real close as well. So keep that in mind on this cut. If you go too far into that, you're gonna have to do some fabricating. There's also down here, we'll get to trimming this part, we get the rocker on, but there is a little lip that comes back off the other side. And hindsight, if I had known this, that lip I had refabricated when we replaced the floor, so I would have left that off. But basically what you can do is cut that, do like a little slit, fold it up, and then weld it to that backside. and then you'll be good to go. So I'm gonna mark this out, and then we'll take the not the die grinder, we'll take the cutoff wheel, we'll cut this off, grind it nice and smooth, get everything fit right. Then we'll get the rocker on, and we'll finish this part down here. So get yourself a Sharpie that you can see. And remember, when you cut this, you're cutting to like the back side of the line so that it matches up with this. And if anything, you want to cut that a little bit more than this so that this is the lip you see and not the back side. Okay, now we'll take this back off and get it cut out. I think the mailman's here. I think we got mail today, boys. Special package, I think. Okay, let's take a break from cutting. Go see what the postman delivered today. Yep. Don't use blade. Don't tell me what to do. Let's get this inside here. I think I got an idea what this is, boys. It should be pretty good. Let's see. Okay, so of course it says don't use blade, but come on, I'm gonna use a blade. Ah! I'm kidding, guys. All right. So I think this is from the boys at GenRight, because they've been seeing what I've been doing, and if you didn't know, they sponsored this video. So shout out to the guys at GenRight. They've been with me and Natalie helping us out since day one. We love their parts. They are some of the best in the business. So if you guys need GenRight stuff, hit us up. We will tell you what to get. We'll get you the best prices possible, and we'll help you put it on your Jeep. So I'm pretty sure this is from them, but let's double check. Yep. So this is from GenRight. We got a hat. So we got another hat here. So we'll put that on. That's cool. Looks like we got a little backpack here. It's got koozies in it, guys. More koozies. We got stickers. More koozies, more stickers. We got some t-shirts. Will. Oh, they even gave one for our favorite. This guy, if you guys don't know him, Jackson, he is our chief officer in charge of transportation, aka he tows our rigs around. So they gave him some stuff. We got pamphlets, guys. This is on all their accessories, roll cages, their Legend suspension. So if you guys are in the market, you want more info, come by the shop. We'll hook you up with one of these. We even got a banner, and that's going up right now. Oh, it looks like we got a note here. Dear Force Team, your YJ is low. You get my vote in the build-off. From at the second lowest YJ. P.S. Don't tell Tony I like your budget YJ better. Huh, so, oh, he must have changed his Instagram name now. So, of course, the last video we showed this thing on the ground, and he used to go by the lowest YJ. I guess now he's going by the second lowest YJ. So, thanks, man. Thanks for your vote in the build-off. I'm not going to tell Tony. I'm sure none of you guys are going to tell Tony unless Tony watches these videos. Anyways, all right, let's get this up, guys. Let's get this up. I want to get this up. So if you were wondering how Atlas and I were gonna get the same exact cut from one side to the other, this is how we're gonna do it. So basically, cut out that side, you guys just saw that. Then I put the corner guard on, marked the corner guard, the inside of the corner guard with what I cut out of the tub. Then I cut and got one side of the corner guard fitting perfectly to that cut. Then I took both of them, I sandwiched them together, I used their own bolts and hardware to bolt them up. Excuse me, you're in the shot. To bolt them up, and then I'm gonna trace this one out, cut that, and then they'll match perfectly. So this is how I've always done it. If you guys have a better way of kind of mirroring the image back and forth, drop a comment down below, but this is how I like to do it. That way it'll be the same for either side. So I'm gonna mark this, cut this out, and then we'll get the other side fitted. So let's do it. I'm not sure, you know, the off-road shops you guys are used to watching on YouTube, but I'm an honest off-road shop. I'm not lying about this budget to make myself look better. Why would I do that? Okay, it's not like when you order a bunch of parts for your truck and then they show up and your wife says, how much did this cost? And you give her 40% less than what it actually cost. I'm giving you the actual truth. It's proven at the end of every video. So anyways, that's that, I guess. All right, boys, so we got that pretty much cut out. We need to switch gears here a little bit to finish the cut because we got to figure out where the rockers are going to land. So these rockers are from GenRight. They are the steel non-boat side because the non-boat side are a little bit stronger, also a little bit less money, hence the budget. So these basically are standard. So they fit a standard YJ without tube fenders and without any kind of stretch. So since we have tube fenders, GenRight provides this little template. This basically goes on the front here somewhere, and then we have to notch this out to fit their tube fender. Then on the back side, we're gonna have to take some of this off to fit our new, bigger wheel opening. So I'm gonna get this notch first, then I'm going to trace out the rest of what we need on there, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so we have fully opened up this wheel well now so that we can fit the 37s with only 2 inches of lift. So a couple things to note, and I'll show you closer views here. There is like a bulkhead support right here that would normally come out to like here. So I've cut that out. I'm gonna trim it again, and I think kind of maybe make some custom brackets to give this inner structure some more support. So that's on the back side. And then on the front side, if I had known this beforehand, we could have done this differently from the get-go. But I was talking about it earlier, this patch that we made on the floor, it basically came out square. And I had just literally remade this because there was rust there before. If I'd known I was gonna cut this much, I could have basically cut that at an angle and brought it this way so this little corner wouldn't stick out. So what I'm gonna do is leave it for now, and then when we take everything back off to go to paint, I'm gonna redo this at an angle so we can get more room forward here, because I brought it out straight to that and it just wasn't enough room. So that extra inch is really gonna be crucial, especially at full bump. So I flex this thing out at full bump to see where we're at, and plenty of room. So we have the rocker kind of clamped up here. I'll show you how to mount that. I'll show you how to mount this, and I'll show you how to mount the fenders, and we'll keep moving forward here. So you can see this is that inner structure I was talking about. But
blessing in disguise because I do have to rebuild this body mount. Now, as far as I know, nobody makes a replacement rear body mount. They have all the others, but not that one. So I'm gonna have to custom make this anyway, so having this out of the way is gonna be better. But I think what I'm gonna do is maybe have my buddy Adam plasma cut me something out of here to support that. And then on this side, this is that kind of plate I was talking about. So basically this came straight out here, and you can see it gets in the way. So I'm gonna cut this back and cut this weld here, pull that in and weld it all up, and then it should be good. But yeah, lots of cutting to fit 37s with a 2-inch lift. Okay, so now that we have the rocker in place where we like it, I just take a center punch. You could use a transfer punch if you want, but I have them and I never use them because they never quite fit in the hole right. You could also mark these and take them off, but this is literally the easiest way. I have a pretty good eye for this, so if you feel comfortable doing it this way, this is how I recommend. And you just line that up and give her a tap. Okay, so that's bolted in, and obviously everything's temporary because we're gonna do some body work and stuff, but this is bolted in. Now, GenRight actually makes another piece of 3/16 that goes behind this that all the bolts go through, so it sandwiches against this thin sheet metal. I am definitely gonna get one of those because that'll help stiffen up this whole side of the Jeep and just make this even stronger. So there's also a couple mounts, little spacers, they go underneath here, get drilled up through, bolted down. Those are gonna wait until we take everything apart to do that again. And like I said, we still gotta fine tune the floor. So let's get the rocker guard fully bolted on and then drill the holes for the fender and get that finalized. Okay, so what I did, remember I said I marked out this on the rocker, then I took a piece of cardboard, I marked it out from this side, cut it out, matched it up, drilled a hole, and then I put this onto the panel, marked that hole, because you can't get anything in here to mark. If you guys have a better way of doing that, let me know in the comments down below. So now we're gonna put this on the body and we'll drill a hole. So you can see that's where I traced out when I had the fender on. And then you just basically line this up and mark that hole there. So I've already center punched that. And then we'll just line this up and get a smaller drill bit so it doesn't walk. Okay, so first try here, obviously always go with the smaller drill bit. I mean, I would never try to just go straight to the right side. That'd be crazy. Okay, so I know we've talked about this before, but if you guys don't have one of these riv nut tools, you guys need one, okay? This one is by Matco. Get it off your local Matco guy. This basically goes in like this. Give her a squeeze. And then I like to go a couple threads more in. The thing I like about this one, I don't know if you guys can see this, it's got this long shaft, if you know what I mean. And it gets your hand out of here, because a lot of them are like in here, and if the handles are in, you can't undo it or do it. It's just a pain in the butt. Okay, so we got that thing in there, and then, see what I'm saying? You just thread it out like this. So there, that's the only one on these rockers that'll need a riv nut. I think what I'm gonna do though, to ensure that the rocker sits flush with this, is where I drilled the hole in the rocker, either widen that hole a little bit, or I'm going to grind away a little bit of that so it sits flush, gives it kind of like a, almost like countersink this into the rocker, if that makes any sense. That way these two body lines still line up well. Anyways, let's get that back on. Okay, so I pulled the
the rocker guard off here. This is what I was talking about. This is the hole where the fender will mount, and on the body is the nutsert. So basically I just ground a little bit away so that that little lip of the nutsert that is here will still allow it to sit flush when this piece goes on. So that's what I did there. Should work fine, so pro tip. So you guys can see that little grinding trick worked perfectly. This is now flush. In fact, this stands out a little bit, but it's flush up here. So when the fender gets bolted in, I think that'll push down on this and even everything out. So pro tip, it worked.
So there's your first look at how this thing's gonna look with all the armor. I think it looks freaking sick. I hope you guys like it. I absolutely love these rockers. They are so cool. The built-in step with like the dimple dies, it just very unique looking side. It's just so cool. So the fenders, I have the top 2 bolts in. These bottom ones I've marked, and the only way to really mark these is to draw a line around this part of the lower fender, and then what I'm going to do is take this off, and I did that on the back side as well, so I know where the fender sits on the body. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to make a cardboard template of the pad, like the little foot on the fender where the hole is. Mark that hole, then I can line that template up here, and I'll make one for the back too, and then drill those holes. This back one, we can get to the back side, so that can just be a nut and bolt. This one here is gonna be a nutsert going in there, so, which kind of stinks because what we'll have to do is drill here, take this whole panel off, and nutsert, put everything back on. But that's okay, because these 2 ones here, excuse me, these 2 here are also nutserts. But anyways, you guys get an idea of how freaking cool this thing looks. It just looks so sick. Okay guys, if you've made it to the end of the video, you know my lovely assistant. We're gonna do the budget breakdown for this episode. And there's been a lot of talk over the first 2 episodes of if this is even possible, including real prices. These are real prices. I'm giving you retail prices. It's not necessarily what I paid, but these are retail prices. I have also included the price of the stuff I got for free. So the wheels, last time we got for free, but they do cost around $1,400. The other thing to think about, guys, is there are much cheaper parts that do the exact same thing. So these fenders are like the high-end, upper echelon of fenders. You can get fenders a lot cheaper. You can get wheels cheaper. You can get tires much cheaper. This is just the budget I'm going with. So whether or not we hit the 10K, you're gonna have to subscribe and follow along to find out, but this is definitely doable. I know for a fact, I have all the numbers on my phone, this is doable. So one of the big things that people wanted addressed from the last video was the axles. Now we had the axles on here as 0, and because they came out of my old Jeep. So everyone didn't think that JK axles were possible. Let me tell you, if you guys have a non-Rubicon JK axle, these axles are dirt cheap. So here's Facebook Marketplace in our area. Let's see if I can get this to focus. 2 axles, 375 bucks. Let's be honest, guys, you could get those for 300 easy. So keep that in mind. We're gonna put 375. She got that on there. Okay. So as far as this video goes, the first thing is the fenders. So why don't you write fenders on there? Okay, fenders. They were 1,400 bucks. Another thing to keep in mind, guys, if you're planning a project like this, do it around when these people are having sales. Everyone has sales. Labor Day, Memorial Day, Black Friday, holiday. There are sales to be had, guys. A lot of guys do 25% off. Sometimes more. So I know I bought a couple of these things on sale. In the next episode, I have some Blem products that I got at a much cheaper price. So keep that in mind. Don't roast me, guys. There are opportunities out there to get this stuff cheap. So next thing, corner guards. Corner guards were $625, and they were $625 because they are aluminum. I went with aluminum to keep things light because this thing does have a 4-cylinder. So you could always use steel, save some more money. Okay, rocker guards is next. Okay, and the rocker guards were $700. Okay, so that's everything we installed in this video. So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do a giant breakdown on the final video, but just to appease some people in the comment section, we're gonna add all this up. So if you could give me the numbers.
All right, we got Jeep 1500.
1500.
Suspension 800.
Plus 800.
Axles 375.
Plus 375.
Wheels 1400.
Plus 1400.
Tires 1900.
Plus 1900.
Fenders 1400.
Plus 1400.
Corner guard 625.
Plus 625.
And 700 for rocker guards.
And then plus 700. So that brings us, this is including the price of the Jeep, which is insane, guys. I hope you understand. That brings us to $8,700. It's gonna be backwards on there, but $8,700 bucks. Now, I'm gonna get to, as we move forward, how to get this budget even lower. And it includes Facebook Marketplace. So, you guys are gonna have to stay tuned to see that one. I appreciate you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, good job. Until the next video, guys, we're gonna be doing some cool stuff on this one, and it's gonna really upset people because it's gonna blow the budget. The budget will be blown in the next video, but we're gonna recoup it, I promise. Facebook Marketplace, stay tuned, boys.